Hello, Swivelheads. It's Greg Allison, Swivelhead News, coming to you exceedingly late or early, live. Guys, we just had this State of the Union rant. It was beyond belief. It's been the most divisive State of the Union speech I've ever seen. It is not only a speech, but it was a rant. Biden seemed really hyped up. What was he hyped up on? How did this occur, guys? You know, I had suspicions back during the debates that of the last election that he seemed to be a bit amped up then too. Not his normal slow slurring. He did slur some in this talk, but he did it fast. What was going on? What was cooking? But divisive, wow. I mean, listening to it, you would think that this was like the state of the Ukraine address, at least the first. It's like, what? Where's the union come in? Where's this country come in? Where's the state of our country come in? Because it was all about, this was a war talk, guys. It was a war talk. And it's obvious who the enemies were or are from the perspective of the President Taterhead. So what I'm seeing and what I was hearing was, one, Putin, two, the certain elements of the conservative movement. So since Putin and the conservative movement seem to be at odds and seem to be the targets of war from the President Taterhead, does that mean that, you know, the enemy of my enemy is my friend? Does that put the conservatives on the same side as Vladimir Putin? I don't know, guys. You tell me. What do y'all think? A lot of people in here already for this late hour. Okay, very good. for the time it is. Guys, it's just, yeah, I've had some of you from down under tell me that you watched this address. People from all over the world were watching this address. What's this guy going to say? Everybody's always interested in it. So, wow. You know, you can see Speaker of the House Johnson sitting in the back just the whole time, just shaking his head in utter disbelief and dismay. He was hanging his head, shaking his head, looking pretty grim for the most part. Yeah, this was talk to beat all. So it starts out, he comes in talking about President Roosevelt and how when he addressed the Congress in 1941, and at a time before WWII was engaged by America. As you know, that conflict had already started, arguably, in 1939, and it was already underway, really, with the Japanese invasion of China and also the invasions of Hitler within Europe. It took a couple of years, 2 or 3 years, actually about 3 for the United States to get involved in that conflict. And I've often warned that that's how these things evolve. But this whole thing is, I've warned that we could be getting engaged in this war, and in Europe, I hope we don't. Our main adversary and really the main concern of the United States, aside from our internal division, which I think is even worse right now, would be China. All these things could be dealt with if we had clear leadership in this country, but the kind of divisive leadership I'm seeing doesn't seem to lend itself to helping us to get through the situation. But of course, according to this talk, the whole economy is booming like never before. If you guys feel like the economy is booming for you, put a 1 in the chat room. If you feel like this economy is really in a bad, sad state, I'd like to see a 2 in the chat room. I'm going to see everybody here in the chat room, guys. We're getting started late. Hey, Granny Nana's with us. Glad to see you, Granny. We've been worried about you. Holy smoke. Girl, we have been really worried about you. Good to see you. I started on 4 herbs from chiropractic for long. Okay, the long treatment. Yeah, we know what that is. Yikes, guys. So, yeah, I'd like to see what you guys are thinking. Hey, we got my neighbor here, Angie. You're up late. We got some East Coast people in here too. So, including, let's see, is New Day's in the house? I think she is. She's not. She'll be here with us in a little bit. Anyway, yeah, guys. So, yeah, Matt says 0. What, Matt, tell us what 0 is. All right, guys. So I'm gonna do the news, then we'll go through the chat room in the normal fashion. But I got to pay a little attention to the chat room. It's what keeps my channel going. It's what keeps me afloat, guys. It's the people in the chat room. Because I get demonetized so much on this platform. And this kind of topic is not one that's going to curry a lot of favor from the great masters at YouTube and Google who owns YouTube, as you might imagine. So, I don't know, guys, this whole thing is really disturbing to me. I'm going to show you some articles. Let's just go right into the articles and we'll talk it as we go. And I'm not going to do a lot of articles tonight. Just not nearly what we normally cover. In fact, I've not opened up the normal thing. Oh, yeah, by the way, guys, when I was in Arizona, I was feeling arthritis really bad. You know, my joints was hurting. They were really aching. My ankles in particular. And it made it a real challenge doing the bill, especially that last trip I was out there, last couple of trips. And the wife of a mutual friend of Rex Bear and Diamond, we all have a mutual friend out there, at least I hope he's still out there, who lived in the area closer to, I guess, Jesse Mills than to me, but real close. And I've been to this place several times, and real good guy, and his significant other, real good lady. They don't want to go by name. We just refer to him as Old Geezer. He prefers that. He don't want his name on the interweb. But she told me that she had real bad arthritis, and she said, you need to be taking C60. And then it dawned on me, I had quit taking it. And just because I just got, basically almost ran out, and I was just trying to moderate it. And so I'm going to take it upon myself to re-engage with that. Speaking of that, got some right here. I'm going to take a little swig right now. I just got a little bit left. I'm going to have to go back to them and get some more. It is expensive, but arthritis hurts bad. And I was really, really struggling out there with it. So I'm going to try to get back. And I don't know. I can't say that this is a cure for arthritis. I can't give any medical advice to you. I'm just relaying what she said and her experience that she attributes to that. You know, I'm not a medical doctor. You know, you got to give all these disqualifiers. Go to your medical system for advice. But if you want to try it out, go to Shop C60. It is pricey, but if you use the code GreenGregs10, GreenGregs10, you'll get 10% off. See, Granny's using it. Well, Granny, use my channel to get it. Go use the code GreenGregs10 when you buy it. You don't have to go to special link for this. Just use the code GreenGregs10, and that'll help me. I had put the wrong code in. I was giving somebody else. Well, I used to think the code was Greg's 10, but I found out that's somebody else's code. So somebody else is getting all the credit for that. Somebody just recently made a purchase though, and so through the Green Greg's 10. So I thought I'd bring this up, guys. You know, this comes in many flavors. You can get these gummies, which are tart and very flavorful. If you want that, or you can get it in other flavors like avocado oil, or this is what I got here is the coconut oil. And taste-wise, I prefer this, but they each have their, different advantages. But, this is a carbon-60 molecule, and they believe it promotes a lot of health in a lot of other ways, like mitochondrial functions. It's the strongest free radical antioxidant you can get. Promotes a balanced immune response, assists with memory loss. Boy, that's why I need to be taking this. Boost energy, mental clarity, stamina, supports athletic performance and recovery. That might be the arthritic point. I don't know. And promotes skin and hair vitality and growth. Boy, I could use that. I'm getting a little ball back here on the back. And if you ever see Ken Swartz, he's my age. But he don't look it. He looks like he's 40. So, yeah, he started out in aerospace, just like me. I've done a couple of interviews with him. They didn't get a lot of views, but anyway, check that out. Enough said for that. I find this really interesting. Psychiatrist sees signs that Biden may have been medicated for his performance. And this is a psychiatrist who's worked with elderly dementia patients. That's what she does professionally. And what she is saying here, let's see. She give her name here. Dr. Carol Lieberman. Dr. Carol Lieberman, forensic psychiatrist. And she's, like I said, worked with a lot of elderly dementia patients. And she said he exhibited signs that he was on a stimulant to mask the cognitive decline. And this is why he was so amped up with his aggressive State of the Union address. Like, and they're talking about how he raced through remarks like an auctioneer, loudly shouting his words, despite, he had a microphone, but he was shouting. Of course, maybe, just part of, where he was at. Yeah, that's what they're saying, Matt. The Adderall is what she suspects, but Adderall or some, she says, these are signs for someone taking Adderall or any amphetamine. Because she said he's usually so slow and stumbling compared to how he was during the State of the Union, fiery and angry. But she says the emotions, like the anger, are typical of somebody that's suffering with dementia, and it's just amped him up, according to her talking, her points here. So I don't know what y'all think about it, but he was basically yelling a lot of the time during his talk. So I take that as a point of interest, and that could be because he was very uncharacteristic for his normal self, and he was very uncharacteristic for his normal self during the debates he had previously with the T-Man. And as you know, the T-Man actually at that time said he thought he was amped up on something. Anyway, so he kind of went on with this Putin thing, and why do we have a dog in this fight in the first place? I really got to ask. But this, from the American Conservative here, this article claims that NATO can have Ukraine or the USA, but not both. And this author here, Senator Mike Lee. Oh, yeah. He's somebody to be reckoned with, Senator Mike Lee. He was basically making a case that when you pull somebody into an alliance, they should be an ally. And an ally should be somebody that has something to contribute to the alliance, not somebody. And he points out that Ukraine is a nation that has nothing to contribute because we have to give them both money and arms and everything just to keep them in business. But they really have nothing to contribute to the alliance per se. But they put the alliance at grave risk of World War III nuclear war with Russia. He points that out in here. And he was saying in here that NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg really is a transnationalist, and no transnationalist should be making decisions on the alliance or the nature of protecting nations, because they have no vested interest in any nations or their people. Hello, Klaus Schlauber. Have you heard that? The House of Klaus might not like that kind of assessment, but one of the things that Senator Mike Lee pointed out is that any such approval of such an addition to NATO's got to go through the Senate, and you expect that there's going to be some resistance there, as unless the party of Biden is really more dominant in the Senate. Now, they do have the deciding vote in the Senate, given they have Kamala Harris as the president of the Senate. In case y'all didn't know, the vice president is the president of the Senate and can cast the tie-breaking votes. So what they're saying here is that, this whole thing with Ukraine puts the United States at risk. And that, he basically lays it on the floor that, hey, the whole reason that, Russia went into Ukraine was because we've encroached upon their territory, and with the expansion of NATO. That man they call potato is crazy. So, yeah, they're trying to get us into World War III, it looks like. And so you can see that why Biden would open his speech that way. Are we ready for World War III with Russia? No, we're not ready for that. We shouldn't be inviting that. To invite a full-blown war with Russia is borderline insanity. Now, bear in mind, I don't think anybody should dominate anybody else. I think all people should be free to choose their association politically. And that includes Ukraine not being part of Russia, but that also includes the Donbass region not being part of Ukraine. And therein lies the grit in the whole thing, because Ukraine's trying to claim all that back. And, it might be that the best solution would be a peace treaty based on EMO. Try that too. A peace treaty between the two. And right now, Ukraine don't want that. But of course, they were heading down that road until Boris Johnson went over there and talked them out of it. So that's part of why we are where we're at today. And there's been a lot of loss of life in Ukraine and with the Russian forces, and it could spread to NATO and the United States if we're not careful. We seem to be heading down, rushing down the road of destruction here. And it's crazy. We are on the verge of a World War III. We don't need it there, and we need to find some way to try to avert it with China too, if possible. But what's going on in South China Sea may make that exceedingly difficult. So we are in difficult times, and I'm not sure a president like we have today is the right man for handling this with these challenges that we have. I just wanted to point this article out. And this again kind of points out, the idea of the friend of my the friend of my enemy, is my friend basically, or the enemy of my enemy is my friend, kind of a strategy. So when the president Taterhead combined Putin and certain conservative elements in our country as being basically his focus of who he is at war with, seemingly. One really has to wonder about that, and where things stand. Is he trying to force us in with Putin? Well, some people would choose that automatically. So I don't know, guys. But here's furthermore evidence that, this division. It's not just Biden. It's the entire party of the Democrats seem to be part of this. But look at what the Biden administration did. They sent a list of groups. I dare not even utter this, because just uttering that word would get this video flagged by the robots. And it's not where I'm trying to go with this. This is, I am not about anything associated with this word here. I'm the guy that tells you to put on your rose-colored glasses and try to understand, or actually put on the rose-colored glasses of the people that don't agree with you. It's on the other side of the aisle, to try to understand them better, so you can communicate with them better, to try to develop bridges and develop peace. I'm about peace. I'm about trying to develop understanding. It's getting exceedingly difficult, and it may already be impossible, but it's worth the try. It sure beats war. War is horrible in any fashion. There's nothing about war that's good, except that you have to defend yourself. I always promote defending yourself. By the way, I've recovered these from my archaeological dig. I'm going through stuff that I got to go through so I can get out of here. I got to pack all this stuff up at some point in the real near future. Anyway, so my old rose-colored glasses, I wore these in that video I did called Rose-Colored Glasses back, 3 years ago now? In fact, I bought these just to do that video. See them? They're kind of rose-colored. Maybe hard to tell from your perspective there, but certainly President Taterhead was not wearing any rose-colored glasses in his divisive State of the Onion rant. That's all I got to say. He was very divisive. But look at this. They sent the groups to the banks. They wanted these groups monitored, and it was just regular run-of-the-mill conservative groups. A lot of legitimate groups were the target of this. Not just, he was lumping them in with the American NAZI party and the Knights of the you-know-what. Oh, my gosh. That's basically how they're treating Americans who don't see things the way they see them. Now, what is right about that? Thank you, Rodney, for sharing the links. I'm surprised that New Days isn't with us. She's having some internet problems. So, yeah. So, and also, if you or anybody bought something that had these magic words in them, or if you shopped at Cabela's or Brass Pro Shop or Dick's Sporting Goods. Why Dick's? Dick's they don't even sell nugs anymore, do they? Didn't they stop? Oh my gosh. I mean, you might go to Dick's, excuse me, to buy a basketball for Pete's sake. So why is anybody that shops at these places being targeted? You see how wide they're casting the net? Very, very wide. So, yeah, and he was accusing the banks of bankrolling bigotry. Now, you know me, I do not support any form of bigotry, and at least in no way. I always tell you guys that there's good people from every race, color, creed, religion, background, from every hamlet, shire, nation, town, county, state across the world. But unfortunately, sociopaths and psychopaths usually rise to the top in organizations, and they like to divide us all against each other. So some of these groups they were picking on was the Alliance Defending Freedom, Family Research Council, Liberty Council, Pacific Justice Institute, and the Federation for American Immigration Reform. If you don't support the idea of throwing the borders wide open and not vetting people coming across, you must be terrible in the eyes of these people. You got to remember, 170 Democrats voted against the bill that went through the House to lock up illegal aliens who were, I say illegal because they crossed that border against the law, sometimes with assistance of our own government, unfortunately. I got nothing against the immigrants based on their background, and so that's what they like to accuse. What I'm for is a due process that vets people and controls the number coming in. We need some changes. So, like I said, I got a Mexican granddaughter. I love her dearly, and I've got a black daughter, and I love her dearly too. So if y'all got a problem with that, goodbye. I got no room for you. But I am a conservative. So, yikes. I don't know what to make of this stuff, guys. Well, I do. What I really make of it is scary. That's all I got to say. And furthermore, look here. It's not just Trump they're trying to take off the ballots. Jonathan Turley says Democrats are working to disqualify dozens of Republicans beyond Trump. Oh, yeah. Elon Musk pointed out one other aspect of this whole immigration thing. It's not just that they're trying to get these guys to vote. It's by moving these people into, and some of them are moving into blue states, by moving them into the blue states, those blue states stand to gain 10 members of the House of Representatives, which could give them a decided advantage. It could give the Democrat Party, just by counting noses that way, people that shouldn't even be in the country, according to the laws on the books, a decisive advantage in Congress. So you see, it could flip this country. If this country were to flip, hey, New Days, there you are. If this country was to flip blue, I think a lot of the red states will have some issues. That might mean Texit takes on a whole new priority. And if Texas leaves, how could the rest of the red states stand to be in a domination or a total subservient role to the blue states? I don't know. It's going to be tough. Let's hope if we have to have a national divorce, it's a peaceable, no fault dissolution. We don't need a war. Anyway, one thing Biden said, which was clearly an untruth, he said the Border Patrol Union backed his positions. Well, the Border Union chief come out and said Biden must quit saying the Border Union backed the border bill. Yeah, because they never did. But yet That's what he was saying in the Rant of the Union address. State of the Union rant. Anyway, State of the Onion rant. Whatever. And who do we let across the border now? Here's some new news. This is why we need to vet who's coming in. I mean, for Pete's sake, we got sleeper cells coming in. Now we discovered this bloodthirsty Venezuelan gang, the Trendy Agra, however you say that, has set up shop in the United States. Oh, yeah. They're here in the United States. How do they get in the United States? If we were properly vetting them, they wouldn't be here. Now, and look at the big cities now, all the crime they're experiencing. They got National Guard now, armed forces in the subways. I remember I went to Italy before 9/11. And I was astonished that in the airports, you had soldiers walking around with full auto weapons. They were everywhere. And I thought, wow, I'm glad we don't have to live like that in the United States. After 9/11, yeah, it was that way in the United States for a while. I said, oh my gosh. Well, it's that way now in the subways up in New York. You know, I used to always think the great thing about trains and subways, it wasn't like boarding an airplane. You couldn't get it hijacked and crashed, you know. You can't exactly hijack a train and make it go to some other city, some other country. But now the crime rate is so high in New York City, they put armed National Guard in the subways. Can y'all believe that? But yet the POTUS has the gall to tell us that we've never been safer. You might remember the Gold Star dad, and how you get to be Gold Star. Gold Star families are families who lost a service member in war. Well, one of the Gold Star families that was up in the aisles, you know, upstairs at the State of the Onion rant, when Biden said that, hey, we've never been safer. He challenged him, and he called out his son's name. He called out his son's unit and his son's name. His son was a member of a unit that was hit by an organization in Afghanistan that the military had pointed out was about to take a strike on America, and it asked for permission to hit. And they were denied the permission to strike them. They were lodged up in some hotel. Well, the number of our service members lost and local civilians exceeded the number of people who had been lost there had that hit taken place. So that's why he was so unhappy. And by the way, he got arrested. He got escorted out and arrested. Gold Star dad arrested. But, you know, that's what happens if you disrupt the proceedings of Congress. So that's kind of run of the mill for it, but at least it was just a misdemeanor, and the fine for it is, I think, maybe $50. So you might remember that what's her name? That Margie, help me out, guys. Margie from Georgia. She said back when Pelosi, Margie Taylor Greene, when Pelosi, yeah, I need more C60. When Margie told her to, everybody had to wear a face diaper because going around, she refused to do so. So she had to pay a fine every time she walked in. But she said she'd gladly pay it. Of course, this is the only mention that Biden made of anything that was military was where we're going to put a pier in Gaza. Now, he said there'd be no troops. But, you know, there would be troops there at the pier. Are we putting ourselves at risk there? I don't know. I feel for the people of Palestine. You know, most of the Palestinians today weren't even alive when Hamas was elected. And according to a recent poll I've seen, it was actually claimed that 75% of them don't want Hamas anymore. I don't know. So how that plays out. But I do feel for the people there. A lot of them there are chances to try to get rid of Hamas internally within Gaza. But I don't think the Gazans will ever make peace with Israel after everything that's gone down. You know, how could they? I mean, you don't make friends by shilling somebody. So I see that being a eternal feud. very tragic eternal feud there between the Palestinians in general and Israel. And there will be no peace, not in a long time, unless a miracle occurs. Or maybe Jesus comes in riding his white horse. Anyway, I don't know, guys. It's rough. But even the aid packages haven't always done so well. You see them being parachuted in. Well, apparently, parachute failed, and 5 people in Gaza are no longer with us as a result. So our aid packages are deadly. Maybe the pier will stop that. Anyway, I don't know, guys. There he is, giving his big rant. Anyway, stop the share here. I'll go through the chat room. So, so guys, I don't know. This is very disconcerting. Now, for the undecided, for a lot of people, they might look at this and say, "Hey, look, he's cogent. He's he's got vigor. He's not what everybody's been saying." So maybe maybe for some people, this might make them go in favor of President Taterhead, because he was able to get up and not fall asleep and during the middle of his talk. But yeah, like I said, according to the psychiatrist, it looks like she claims he was a bit amped up. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let's go through the chat room. We're not going to stay on here so late. We got a late start, and I might pull up some other stuff in a minute. I hadn't even pulled those pages open. Let's see what folks are saying here. Rodney, hi. Matt. Jeff. Yeah, Jeff, I think so. That may be the case. Melanie, how you doing? Steppers J. Let's see here. God bless you too, Jerry Gamble. You knew the biggest pack of lies you ever heard, huh? Yeah, it was something. It was something. Matt says, no, the drugs were keeping him sober. Thank you for the light, Preston. One the new doctor, Granny, that's good to hear. Hope that helps you out. Nick Smokes, he took his eyes, he shook yes to the Ukraine talks. Yeah, also another thing, State of the Union address is not supposed to be a campaign speech. It was very much a campaign speech. Very much. And he very much attacked the T-Man and all of his followers. I don't know. Should have heard the reverse speech they did. I said, yeah, I heard Senator from Alabama give her rebuttal. I heard that Tucker Carlson also, two last names always confuse me. I always want to call him Carl Tuckerson. Tucker Carlson. I heard he gave a real good rebuttal. And here's another thing. I mentioned this in a previous video. There's intel that indicates that it looks like somebody tried to put a hit on him when he was in Moscow. And the guy who was arrested and accused of this, planting a bomb that was allegedly taking out Tucker Carlson, said that he was paid to do this by the Ukrainian intelligence. And the head of Ukrainian intelligence was Budanov. He was Budanov, whatever his name is. He has been trained and sponsored by our very own CIA. Makes you wonder. Makes you wonder, guys. Did he get them from his son? They did find white powder in the White House. Check out the short on this channel where I do the song Propane. you've not seen my little short propane, go watch it. Yeah, I mentioned that white powder at the end. Uh-huh. Castor oil? No, he's not emu oil. Emu oil comes from, oh, Preston says castor oil. Yeah, I got some castor beans here from my friend Green Country Agroforestry, Jason Neighbors. I got some castor beans. I'm gonna try to plant them out there in Arizona. Grow me some castor bushes. But guys, yeah, my mom used to give me black drop. What do they call that stuff? Oh my God, when I was a kid, she'd give that stuff to me regularly, and it would make my intestines feel like they were tied up in knots, and it would hurt. And man, I had to go, and there was nothing left to go. Have you ever had the dry heaves throwing up where there was nothing else to throw up? Like my younger days when I went to an occasion and had one too many scotches, and I was calling Earl to the big white telephone, but I thought my toenails were going to come up through me. Well, it's like that, but going through the other end when black drop, and I'm sure castor oil was just as bad. Anyway, my gosh, I can't imagine castor oil being any better than what I was taking. I think what I was taking had a black cherry flavor to it, but I didn't care for it, not knowing what was coming. I hated when my mom gave me that stuff. It's like, yikes, yikes, oh no, here we go again. Does that hurt? I mean, it just tie me up in knots inside. It would make my stomach hurt. Bad. Cost me a lot. I think I sent you a recipe you gave me. Okay. Had a few K9 boys show up for coffee and bones. Oh, okay. Talking about the goons, new days. I have a way mixed, nice family. That's right. Granny's got a mixed family. And so do I. Dadgummit. It shifted a bunch on me. I'm trying to just scroll a little bit to catch all the comments, but it jumped on me. Well, hi. It's jumping on me too much. Yikes. I think it's going to the bottom. And cause you are honey. Let's see. Clayby. Good morning, Greg. I was so traumatized after watching the horror show last night, I haven't been able to sleep yet. Oh. It was very divisive. I mean, people on the left they just don't get it. They don't get it. They really don't understand our perspective on things. They really fundamentally don't understand. They think they do. They attribute where we come from to things that have nothing to do where we come from. Yeah, what's that latest book that came out? Rural white hate or something stupid like that. They totally miss who we are and where we're coming from completely. Anyway, right, new days, you can feed me. Well, you'll be well fed if she does. No one thing, new days that lady can cook. Let's see. Melly Luns, I'm hearing the black swan is starting in Brazil and slowly working its way here. Could be. Randy, Tucker Carlson's a great man. Yeah, but the people on the left side of the spectrum, man, no like it. He got fired from Fox News. Fox News is supposedly conservative. I think Fox News is a rhino channel. I watched the State of the Onion rant on Newsmax. I don't want to, that's the only thing I could find on YouTube that it was not going to be a bunch of left-leaning commentary. I just didn't even want to hear it. Rodney, I don't believe Ukraine had anything to do with that. It would have been okay. What? I don't believe Ukraine had anything to do with what, Rodney? Let's see. Add instrumentation. Oh, add an instrumental to propane. Well, I'm not necessarily all the best at playing instruments. You know, I got my washboard down here that New Day sent me. It's a musical instrument. And I got my, whatever you call that big tube back there, which I still haven't mastered yet. Guess I got to work on that some more. No, border. Oh, yeah, you were in the, yeah, you're at work. You're at the hotel. Border Patrol, K9 units, and Sheriff K9s. My goons prefer sardines. Okay. Well, smart goons. I like sardines. That's good food. The House voted 50-0 to ban TikTok. That's good. Let's see. All Tater did was threaten us again. He says he's going to keep us safe by taking our second away. Yeah, right. Well, you know, what do these guys want to do? How does this make sense? You tell me if this makes sense. If you think this, what I'm about to put out there from their perspective, makes sense, I don't know, put on my rose-colored glasses. I'm going to try to get it, but this one, I'm having a very difficult time making sense out of it. Maybe you guys can help me make sense of this. I don't know. I don't think these rose-colored glasses have got enough for me to get my head totally inside this worldview. But explain to me this. You defund law enforcement. You pass laws that decriminalize shoplifting, decriminalize drugs, and you create sanctuaries and try to aid and abet people coming across the border that aren't vetted, that allow in sleeper cells, allow in gang members like the Venezuelan gang that was mentioned there, and others, to allow the drug cartels to build up inside our borders, which are being funded and coordinated by our good friend Xi Jinping, because he loves us so much he wants to totally disintegrate our nation from within, it seems. Yeah, watch my video I just put up on Green Greg's about that today. It didn't get many views for some strange reason. Not as near as many as it should have. But how is it defunding police? And they always tell us that, oh, don't worry, you don't need a nug, you can call the cops. And cops have a response time of like 30 minutes. Any criminal is going to be in and out before 30 minutes, not 5 or 10 minutes. They'll do their nasty deeds. They get in and get out. Unless it's a full-blown house invasion and they know you aren't able to press the buttons and make the call. But if you got an alarm system, then if they have it disabled, that might be different. But anyway, so how is it that defunding police, passing laws to decriminalize everything? Oh, yeah, and then they come up with this no bail laws in Chicago and some places like that. The guys can get loose. They don't have to even file bail. They make life so easy on the criminals. They get even the illegals that come across, they commit horrendous crimes, and it's just catch and release all over again. Crime on top of crime. And that's okay with them. Yet, they want to take away our means of self-defense at the same time. And somebody, if that makes sense to you, put a 3 in the chat room, because I want to hear from you why that makes sense. If that don't make sense to you, put a 4 in the chat room. I'd like to see what you guys think about that. Yeah, how can I support Ukraine when it seems that they put a hit on our most prominent journalist? Tucker Carlson is the most popular journalist in the United States, bar none, hands down. He probably has more popularity than all the rest of them combined times 10. If I see a 3, then you got to explain it to me, because I don't need some education. I'm just some poor dumb rocket scientist. What I know, I need some education to understand that perspective, how that makes sense. And frankly, that one is hard for me to wrap my mind around. Very hard. Why did 170 Democrats vote against a bill that was in support of Lincoln Riley and the things that had and trying to keep that from occurring again? Oh yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene did get Biden to kind of sort of say her name, but he butchered it. He called her Lincoln Riley or Lincoln or something. He didn't say the name right. Greg, why would we need cops when Taterhead wants to use these legals as a standing arm? Oh, I got that coming up in a video. I've done a video on that. I'm going to post it in a couple of days, maybe Sunday on Green Gregs. I got a couple of videos I've recorded. I haven't posted yet. You'll see them soon. The first of that series is going to be about them putting them in the military, and the second one is going to be a little broader about how the genie's out of the bottle, how our country just is not going to ever return to what we used to know, what we knew, what we grew up with. We've got to find ways to deal with a new reality in this country, thanks to everything that's crossed the border. But there are things that the government can do, and there's things that you can do, and I talked to that in that video too. So stay tuned on that. Keep an eye out for my Green Gregs channel. I'm going to post those two videos over there, I think. Anyway, did you see the guys in air? Yeah, I just posted an article on that. I just showed it. Actually, she joined us after that, but I didn't mention this. Yeah, that's right. And her name is not Lincoln Riley. It's Lakin. All right, let's see. I'm going to open up a couple of other things here that I normally do. Because I did not open these tabs. Let's see. We'll check earthquakes. We'll check the space weather. Yeah, and folks down south, down in Louisiana and southern Mississippi and southern Alabama, down in lower Alabama, LA, had some real serious storms today. I believe there were some tornadoes in it. I haven't heard damage reports, but it was real stormy down there in that neck of the woods. And I just drove through there a couple of days ago, and we'll probably be going back in a couple of days so I can get this transmission fixed. Let's see here. One more thing. I'll type in. There we go. Those storms are in Georgia right now. They're going north. So we'll get to see that in a little bit. I'll show those shortly. All right. Let's see. St. Louis Arch. Yep. See Clay B. That's a real good idea to give them access to training and military-grade weapons. I'll put them in the military. Think about it. What does that really mean? Yeah, well, you have to watch that video, guys. It's one of my walk in the woods videos. I've done 2 walk in the woods videos I'll be posting. All right, have a blessed day all week. Hey, Judge, just had a few thunderstorms this afternoon here in New Orleans. Great. Okay. Thunderstorms I can live with. I hope that's all it was. I did see that there were some tornado chasers in the area, and you were under a tornado watch. So I hope nothing hit the ground. I saw that in a few channels, but I didn't get a chance to see what the result of all that was. I've been a busy puppy. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, good night, Joe. Basically, been raining here all week of the last day of Taylor Swift's concert. That's what she needs to be rained out, right? All right, let's go look at the some of the weather stuff. Earthquakes and weather, space weather and earth weather. All right, as you can plainly see, our Puerto Rican buddies down here have been dancing real hard. A lot of earthquakes down in Puerto Rico usually. That's probably good news. If they're dancing, they're happy. That's a territory of the United States. It's always kind of 1/3 of them want to become a state, 1/3 of them want to become independent, 1/3 of them want to stay as they are. And so they've been staying as they are for some time. But Puerto Rico is an interesting place. That's a beautiful island. When I was in the Army, there were so many Puerto Ricans in the Army. I used to have them tell me, oh, Puerto Rico's a beautiful place. It's got mountains, it's got jungles and beautiful beaches. And all I could think was so many Puerto Ricans in New York, so many in the Army. I thought the people must be standing shoulder to shoulder in Puerto Rico. I thought, nah, it can't be. So I told him, well, I went there. I discovered what he said was absolutely true. Beautiful island and beautiful people. So that's all I can say. I was pleasantly surprised. The beaches there are beautiful. All right, we got some fair-sized Earthquakes out here in West Wokistan. Now that may be in Mexico. Let's see. Yeah. 18 kilometers west southwest of La Jolla, California. Okay, so that's a California quake. That's just right near the border there. And over here in the Texas, New Mexico area, there's a lot of quakes right here for some reason. That's in White City, New Mexico, which is pretty typical. There's one right next to it. Where's that at? Toya, Texas. See, it's right here, this New Mexico, Texas border. It gets a lot of quakes. Of course, this is Jellystone up here, Yogi Bear country. Stanley, Idaho, 2.9. Here's a pretty good one right here. 3.2, Virginia City, Nevada. Next is Ponderosa. Independence, California. Willis, California. Alaska's kind of quiet for a change. My friends up there must be happy. 2.5 in Cordova, Alaska. And Hawaii. Hawaii's got all these volcanoes down there, so that's not unusual to see a bunch down there. 2.5, Ocean View, Hawaii. I mean, Hawaii is a volcano. The Hawaiian chain is built by volcanoes. All right, let's kind of scan around the world here. Wow, Indonesia's really quiet. The Philippines is quiet. But over here in the Tonga region, no, South Fiji Islands, a 5.3. Up here, and looks like the Hokkaido Island. Let's see. 4.9, 42 kilometers south of Shenzhen. I don't know how to say that. In Japan. All right. We got this one near Taiwan, 4.6. And China got one right here. Now go China, 4.3. Probably out in the desert. You know, that could be a test. Oh, look, the world's kind of quiet in earthquake front. Mid-Atlantic Ridge is quiet. Oh, we just had one over in Chile. Brand new one. Bang. 4.5. The Atacama, Chile. That's the San Pedro Atacama. The Atacama is the driest place on earth. That desert there. Then we got Ranchagu. How you ever say that? Chile. 4.0. Okay, good. The earthquake front is kind of quiet, except for all the Puerto Ricans that are dancing and having a good time down there. It's got to be one that has some earthquakes in Puerto Rico. Those Puerto Ricans, they love to dance. What can I say? Which is good. Sun. We got a lot of little sunspots right now. Fortunately, nothing big, but still a lot of sunspots. Space weather. That's where we're at now. Might need to do a video on Apophis. There's been some stuff coming on Apophis. Look here at the aurora. Really strong in Alaska right now. And pretty strong even up in northern Alberta. So, Arnold, can you see any aurora tonight? When's the last time you saw an aurora, Arnold? Red arcs. Observed from Latvia to eastern Russia. That's pretty. Now, when it's red, it means it's down in the oxygen. It's getting lower. That's a powerful aurora to get down and turn red. Let's look at the asteroids. Nothing coming between the Earth and the Moon anytime soon, at least not through the 2nd of May that we know of. But there's always these like this that we discover either when they're about to pass us or after they pass us. This one came in underneath the geosynchronous satellites, 0.2 lunar distances. So that one is, a lot closer, but it's only 5 meters. We talked about that the other night. So I don't need to harp on that much more. But there's always a possibility. There's a few of those out here in the next coming weeks, days. We'll keep an eye out for that. Apophis is supposed to come in kind of a close shave like that. Now, the Chelyabinsk event that took place in Russia caused a lot of damage. It exploded in the upper atmosphere. That was about the power of a couple of atomic bombs. And that one was only 12 meters in diameter, which means it's a little bit bigger than this one right here. And they did a lot of damage. There's some smaller ones, like a 5, would probably burn up in the atmosphere, and we wouldn't even know it. Other than seeing a really nice light show, maybe. But Apophis is 1,000 meters in diameter. It's supposed to pass us first on the 13th of Friday the 13th in 2029, come back in 2036, and again, I think 2062, I think. So, got to keep an eye on that one. The problem is the orbits right now show that it's going to miss us, and I'm pretty confident of that, but will it really? I need to do a video on that over on Galactic Greg's. Let's go over here to weather. Here's these storms. They're up just south of Atlanta now, going all the way across mid-Georgia. Everything down in lower Alabama is pretty calm, except around Mobile, maybe Biloxi area in Mississippi. But looks like I got some thunderstorms. We'll group right here on the coast. But this stuff is moving north, and we'll continue to move out. We got some cooler weather behind this front, as we can see. Let's zoom in on the weather here. Looks like it's chilly up in New Day's territory, about 21 degrees. Vermont 37, but 26 and 28 over here in New Hampshire. Boston's 34. Rhode Island red, 32. New Haven, Connecticut, 35. Pennsylvania, Altoona, Pennsylvania is 39. Pittsburgh is 48. Like the difference there. 9 degrees. Philadelphia is 39. Same as Altoona. So it's cool on the east side. Ohio in the 50s, pretty much everywhere in Ohio. West Golly, Virginia, mostly 50s. 44 over here in the Blue Ridge area. 48 down here in Wise, Virginia. Roanoke is 48. That's all mountains in here. Richmond, former capital of a nation, 44. 43 in Bidenland. Yeah, it's pretty warm here right now. It shows Huntsville, Alabama at 57. Ardmore at 57. Coleman at 57. Gunner's Patch at 59. Birmingham, 61. Montgomery, 68. We had somebody in the chat room the other night from Montgomery. Y'all just had the storms go through there. Down here in LA, we got 68, 66, 64. Enterprise is 68. Dothan, 68. Now, Enterprise has got the biggest monument to a bug in the world, the boll weevil monument, right in the middle of the street. But the actual boll weevil is not that big. It's maybe yay big, the cast boll weevil, but it's on top of a big pedestal. I thought the boll weevil would be huge. I was a little disappointed to see how small it actually was. All right. Pascagoula got storm, 66. Mobile storm, 66, just south of Mobile. Gulfport, 68. Nolens, NOLA, 68. Yeah, I drove through here in a previous trip back, and I drove through here, the latest trip. Lake Charles, 61, a lot of refineries there. I had to spend a few nights there once upon a time when I had a truck transmission go out there. I don't know. Trips to Houston, for some reasons, hard on transmissions for me. Huntsville, Texas, the prison town, is 52, cooler than where I'm at. Planet Houston, 59 downtown. Now see, Cypress. This is swamplands, guys, the woodlands. Yeah, this is swamps and bayous all through here. Just like southern Louisiana, not much difference. This is wet country down here, typically. If you go up around, look at all the lakes up in here in East Texas, guys. Look at all these lakes. All these lakes because it's wet. Dallas, Fort Worth, Up into Oklahoma, look at all these lakes. Once you get west of Oklahoma City, things start to dry out, especially out here and in the Amarillo area. But you'd be surprised at the forest through here and on up into Kansas. Eastern Kansas looks like Alabama. Look at all these lakes here, guys. Rivers, lakes. This is all wet country. The Chisholm Trail ran right up through here. The Chisholm Trail is mostly through forest. Something I pointed out on one of my drives back, that the cowboys were forest rangers. They rode herding cattle through forest for the most part. Some of them might have came from West Texas, but a lot of those there's a lot of cattle grown down in here too, all through Texas. Now, West Texas is a lot more arid, especially when you get here toward El Paso, which is around 41 degrees, and Juarez 41. Alamogordo. I need to call the museum there, see if they want my D6 rocket parts. They used to beg me for them, but they didn't want to pay a penny for them. They wouldn't spend a lot of money for a truck to get them. That D6 rocket in my backyard, it's got to go, I guess. Mostly 20s in through most of New Mexico. Albuquerque's 35. Colorado, Aspen is 3 degrees. Colorado Springs is 14. Aspen, 3. 10 over here. You get a lot. -2 over here. Wow, Meeker, -2. Wow. Steamboat Springs, 7. Colorado Jan is somewhere here in West Colorado. Look here at Utah, Provo, 10 degrees. Salt Lake City, 19. There's a Heber, Arizona also, by the way. 5 degrees in Heber there. Let's see, what is Huntsville? We'll go up to Ogden. I used to stay in Ogden a lot. Huntsville, Utah is -2. That's up in the mountains. This is a beautiful mountain meadow community here. This has got this is lush, a lot of stuff growing. You get down here in the valley, it's dry. But the mountains is pretty. Beautiful mountains there, the Wasatch, what do we call them? Delta, 25. Milford. All right, you got a lot of teens down in here. -2 in Huntsville, Utah. So that's there. All right, how come I didn't show me what I'm looking for here? Oh, there it is. Lost Wages is 46. Lost Angels is 50. Show Low is 30 degrees. Holbrook, 27. Snowflake is 30. There's a few snowflakes west of Snowflake. Maybe they'll get a few tonight. I don't know. Phoenix is the balmy 50. Tucson is 44. Calgary, Arizona watches a video. That's close to where she's at. Close, not exactly. Yuma Proving Grounds, 59. They got a big nuke plant out here, too. Barstow, out in the desert. Mojave Desert, 44 degrees. Bakersfield, 48. Modesto. I bought feed from Modesto. I had it shipped to me back when I had a hard time finding non-GMO feed locally. I get it locally now, but that was very expensive to get feed shipped from Modesto. Modesto Mills was the company there. Yosemite Valley, 16. San Fran, 50. San Jose, 46. All right, let's go up the coast of West Wokistan. Eureka, 48. Is Chewy Weather in the house? I don't see him. Maybe we got watching 59 now. Okay. Then we get up here into Oregon. Eugene is 35. It's 40s on the coast. You go inland, it's in the 20s. So up there's 37. There's the Columbia River. Now that's a big volcanic basalt cliffs here. It's very interesting to see when you cross the Columbia River, guys. Those big cliffs of basalt rock. 43 in Seattle. Tacoma's 35. I used to fly in the Seattle Tacoma Airport some once upon a long time ago when I was going to Alaska. And we got 30s in Western. How come Western Washington State is warmer than Western Oregon? I don't know. We've had people coming in from Vancouver Island. It's in the 30s there. Got a lot of snow in British Columbia. We go over here to Alberta. Back up a little bit. There we are. Brooks is 25. Calgary's 23. Red Deer's 25. Edson 25. Hinton. All right, we got 16 in Hinton. Wow, it's colder in Huntsville, Utah than anything I'm seeing here. Huntsville, Utah, way south of this is -2. 19 in Zama City. Fort Smith, 21. All right, let's go over to Canadian Prepper territory. It's cooler than Alberta. You have some single digits on the Fahrenheit scale, which they don't use. Swift Current is 21. Humboldt, 8. Big River, 8. All right. Oh, we better check. Brian Perendiland, Minnesota, 8 up in Rosal. How do you say that? Rosal. Orr is 17. All right. Park Rapids, 16. Brainerd, 19. 21 in St. Cloud. St. Paul's, 23. Yeah, you got 20s and teens. Teens and north. We got a single digit right there in Northwest Territory. Let's go up to Alaska. Anybody from Alaska in the house tonight? Where's our Alaskan buddies at? 59 in here. We're not picking up a lot of people tonight. Sitka, Alaska's 35. Juneau's 32. Cordova, where they had that earthquake, is 30. Below freezing and snowing. Homer's 23. Anchorage is 17. Wasilla, we got one of our followers in Wasilla, 17. Seward, 16. I think we used to have a guy come in from Seward. Kodiak Island, 26. Half the people in Alaska are in Anchorage, by the way, right here at 17. Half the population of Alaska is right here, or maybe it's a greater area around here. Whoops, I kicked ahead on the scale here. Didn't mean to do that. Whoops, let's go back. Well, it's going to be getting a lot of snow up there. Delta Junction's 5. Healy's -2. Healy's the same temperature as Huntsville, Utah. What do you say, Granny? Tanana -2. Fairbanks is 1 degree. And it got snow. Delta Junction got snow. That'd be Fort Greeley got snow. Imagine that. I'll see. Pardon me, -13 over here. -29 at the pass in the Brooks Range. And how you say that? And I can't pronounce that. Shoot. Didn't call it that one. Dead Horse -28. -29 up here. Barrows -22. Wainwright's -19. How about that? Wainwright always makes me think of Dudley Do-Right. Anybody know where the character Dudley Do-Right appeared? You guys old enough to remember that? There's a Fort Wainwright near Fairbanks. Speaking of Dudley Do-Right, Yukon Territory, Dawson City is 8. -6 at Norman. Let's see. They're Northwest Territories. Yellowknife is 14. -13 up there. Siberia, is there anything colder in Siberia than Alaska? Last time we looked, the answer was no. Siberia is usually colder. I don't see it. Nope, Alaska's colder than Siberia. Japan's 30s, 26 up here in Hokkaido Island. We had the earthquake. 41 in Tokyo. 46 down here. Philippines is 80. All right, what's WWIII? I'll say, I guess 83 degrees. What's WWIII? Oh, 79. Holy smoke. That's the coolest I've seen WWIII in a long time. In the northern tip of Queensland. WWIII 79. I was way off. It's usually like 82 to 84. Wow. It's cool down in WWIII. Well, guys, y'all summer's about over. About to head into fall. Brisbane, 73. Mount Isa, 88. Tasmania. Hobart is 80. Wow. That's warm for Hobart. Melbourne, 89. It's warmed up down there. Look at that, guys. That's the warmest I've seen Hobart in a long time. But New Zealand is about the same, 60s. The most of Wellington's 55, Christchurch 55, Dunedin is 50. We got 50 to 62. And I'm sure if you zoom in these mountains, you'll see some colder temperatures in the actual mountains. Wow, guys. Hobart, 80 degrees. Alice Springs is a cool 79. Warburton, 88. You know, we've been seeing temperatures there like 106. But not now. Autumn is almost upon y'all. But look at all the rain they've been getting in the outback. So tell me, Rodney, is the outback blooming? It seems they got a lot of rain. Navajo, what about Navajo, Steffords? I'm here by studying on the side. You studying Navajo? My place, yeah. Yeah, most of those places I mentioned in Arizona are in Navajo County. Yeah, Navajo County's got Navajo in it. All right, let's go up here to Europe. Oh, we got snow in Spain. Snow in Turkey. How about that? Snowing in Turkey. Ankara, 41. Capital of Turkey. Istanbul, 46, formerly known as Constantinople. Athens, Greece is double nickel. Beirut is 62. Jordan, 55. Raining in Dubai. Got some storms there. When you get those kind of storms in the desert, that's rough on them. Now, Madrid is 43, but they got snow here and areas around it. Interesting. Got some mountains up here. It's 26 right there. 50 in Paris, where Macaroni resides. He's really wanting to go to war, seemingly, it looks like, with Russia. He's been calling for putting troops in the Ukraine. That's a NATO nation. Kyiv is 39. That's Vladimir Zelensky land. Minsk, the capital of Belarus. Lukashenko land is 36. Moscow is 23. Norway, we get people from Norway a lot. 30s, 32 in Oslo, 39 here, up the coast, 39, 30s. Yep. There's snow in the mountains between Norway and Sweden. Murmansk is right at 32. That's where a whole lot of the Russian military stations are at, Naval and Air Force. England. Hull, England is 44. Birmingham, England is 44. That is cooler than Birmingham, Alabama. London, 48. Ireland has got 43, is pretty much across it, but over here at Castlebar is 41. Glasgow, Scotland is 41. Inverness, 39. Aberdeen, 43. All right. We've covered most of the area where most of my watchers are from. I do like to kind of pull back the United States and run the weather forward. Step out. But we got a lot of snow in New Mexico, going up to southern Colorado. Colorado had a lot of snow recently, from what I've seen. Let's lock it forward and see what's coming, guys. That storm's moving up in South Carolina, North Carolina, getting pretty intense. Eastern North Carolina off the coast. That's some storms developing in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, going up into Connecticut. Snow coming to you, new days. All right, more rain and snow coming in West Wokistan. All that snow is accumulating in those mountains. They got a lot of snow there. When that stuff melts, they're going to have quite a flood. That's going to be coming soon. Idaho is going to be getting snow. More snow in West Wokistan and interior. And West Wokistan is just on the coast mostly. Wow, all that snow coming in Tuesday through Colorado, Nevada, Almond, Idaho, Montana, into Denver, West Colorado, where Colorado Jan's at. Snowing there Tuesday and throughout Wednesday. Wyoming getting a lot of snow on Wednesday. Storms in Iowa and southern Minnesota. Well, to Wisconsin. We got a whole new other set of storms Thursday. Ooh, I'm looking to be back in Texas along that time, maybe. Oh, I hate driving around. I came back through a lot of rain and storms, as you're aware of, on my trip back. Friday, looks like there's going to be a lot of storms in central Texas. Oh, Friday is looking bad again for southern Louisiana. New Orleans on Saturday. Houston getting rain on Saturday. I think it's wet here. Look at, we're still getting rain here next week, Saturday. It's going to get stormy here Saturday, it looks like. All right, and then around Pensacola and those areas are going to be hit by storms Sunday. Following Sunday on the 17th. On St. Patty's Day. Look at all the snow. It's going to be up St. Patty's Day and afterwards up in Maine area. And the Mississippi River. Northern Ohio and Pennsylvania and New York, Western New York through Monday. Wow. We're not done with the snow, guys, and that's in the spring. All that snow is falling in the springtime. Well, springtime comes on the 19th this year. That's the equinox is the 19th. Just go all the way to the 19th. And right there's the 19th. So all that is spring snow. Spring snow, don't you know? Stop the share. Alrighty, folks. Let's see what I've been missing here in the chat room. Not a lot of comments. It still shows we got 59 in the house. I'm only showing, let me do a refresh because I'm only showing 13 thumbs up. Do a refresh and see what that count is. Okay. 77 watching and 71 thumbs. Okay, good. That's better. All right, we got about 6 people. At least it's not gave us a thumbs up. Cuban Nurse Prepper, good to see. Jason Smith laughing. I don't know, I'm English. Hey, Steffers. Supposed to be a nasty storm, Greg. Yeah, I'm hearing some nasty storms. All right, good night, Cuban Nurse Prepper. Navajo astronomy is completely different. So I'm studying star maps. Oh, okay. I missed the super chat. I don't see oh, there it is. John Taylor. I just got here. Salute you, John Taylor. Thank you. No, I didn't see it because I'm not seeing this. It's supposed to pop a bubble up at the top. Show me when I got a super chat. And if I'm not right there in that part of the chat, that you don't see it when I'm scrolling through. It's not showing me the bubble up top. Oh, geez. John Taylor, thank you. Salute to you. That's what keeps me here. Just got here. Where are we at right now? Oh, I started out talking about President Taylor's State of the Onion rant. Oh my gosh. I'm catching on rewind here. Oh my gosh, guys, that was so divisive. And it was not a speech, it was a rant, and it was more of a political speech, more of a campaign speech instead. And he started out talking about Ukraine, you know, of all things. What? State of the Union? You're talking about another country? Let's see. Let's see what else. I missed some other chat too. Someone's going through the weather and all. Okay, Burr, I'm kind of in SLC. Okay, that's the. I gotta hit refresh. A lot of stuff disappeared. That's the first oldest Chatham Sands Granny there. Fetch a pretty penny and scrap metal. Oh, that the DCX rocket. Yeah, it might. They don't want the aluminum lithium though. Close to SLC capital. Okay, so you're close to Salt Lake City. I can get to the airport in 7 minutes. Oh, okay. All right. Romney land, that it is. Well, yeah, between that and Massachusetts. So which one is really Romney land? I think Romney's more philosophically close to Massachusetts than he is Utah. Just me saying, you know what I mean? And didn't Massachusetts elect him? Stay in the auto business. So exclusionists. Crowdfund a giveaway. Some parts of China, 100% humidity. I don't doubt that. Yeah, Eastern China get a lot of rain sometimes. They've been flooded a lot recently. Yeah, I don't miss too many, but for some reason the bubble's not popping up like you used to. You know how on chats you used to see a bubble at the top? I'm not seeing it over here. It didn't show up. The bubble. That's weird. I think last time I had that problem too. I don't know why. I think the cat ate a tree frog and is tripping. Hey, let me ask you a question. How does somebody discover they can get high by licking a frog? Why did it occur to someone to lick a frog in the first place? Oh, I'm gonna go lick a frog. Just, I don't get it. I guess that just means some people will do anything. How did anybody discover they get high licking a frog? Yuck. You know, frogs do have chemicals in their skin which make them taste bad. That's why they don't get attacked by a lot of predators. Because they leave a bad taste. So now they leave a bad taste, and then a lot of them are downright poison. Those little dart tree frogs in South America are poison. Although old Joe can still cheat his way through. Well, he did because he's amped up, apparently. Always shop there and makes fun of him. Where's that at? Let's see. Shops at Smith's in Farmington, Utah. What? Uncle Joe thinks a wartime president will save him. Yeah, we usually don't switch horses in a war, but maybe could be something else. As in, what is your location? My location right now, I'm Alabama, Tony area. Mass holes. There you go. China has some of the oldest climate records in the world. I wish our scientists could collaborate on that instead of other things. Yeah, it's too bad they're not collaboration, peaceful collaboration. It's too bad the CCP has got such aggressive intentions right now. I mean, it's too bad that the country of China has been dominated. The poor people there have been dominated by the CCP. Bless their hearts. You guessing they tested the frogs and found it psychoactive? Jason Smith, that's a lot of, that's giving them a lot of credit. I think somebody just licked a frog. I really think that's where it came from. Because I think they've known that for some time. Maybe some of the natives found out by accident. I don't know. Make your no comments plan now. Know what to do if the grid goes down long term. That's what I'm expecting long term. We Southern folks just like putting everything we find in our mouths. Cloudy. Rodney gave them that name. Oh, Lord. Did he? All frogs, cane, toad, and lizards disappeared 20 years ago down here. Oh, really, Clay? Where's that at? When I was a kid, they were all over the place in abundance. They almost disappeared here, but they've had a comeback. A lot of this is agricultural spraying and stuff. But the cats out and the frogs started jumping. Tried to save them. They were little fast little boogers. Oh, cats would go after all kinds of things, but you think if they take a bite of a frog, they wouldn't want no part of that. We used the plink. We used to plink a toad. It creates a white milky substance. Makes you see pink. Oh, new days. I don't know. Magic mushrooms help combat depression in small doses. Yeah, micro doses. Some idiot down here like to get stoned by licking the cane toads. Oh, okay. Wow. They found a certain medicine can be made from hippo sweat. They had to have tested. There ain't no one licking no hippos. No, I don't think so. A hippo is. What's the deadliest animal in Africa? What is aside from mosquitoes? What's the deadliest animal in Africa? Don't knock it till you try it. See pink. I don't know if I want to be seeing pink. I'm scared of that kind of stuff, guys. I don't want to be doing no substances. I had no trouble keeping my ticker from racing. Trace, I'm with you. Gross. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Oh, Lord. Yeah, that song, just like ecstasy, microdoses help PTSD. You are mad. Laughing my off. Oh, well. Who? Oh, Ronnie says you're mad. If we could breed psychedelic frogs, we could probably make a lot of money from selling them. Probably. Hippo. Yes, Rodney. That's the most dangerous animal in Africa is the hippo. What's the most dangerous animal? Skeeter, aside from mosquitoes again. I don't think mosquitoes carry the diseases in Alaska. But what's the most dangerous animal in Alaska? I've asked these questions for you. Y'all should guess it. Hey, Cro-Magnon. No, the Africans. Well, humans tend to be the deadliest elephants. Anyway. Pink elephants. Oh, Lord. Pink elephant march, right? What's the deadliest animal in Alaska? Now, we've talked about that before, so somebody ought to guess it. No indigenous elephants in Alaska, not these days. Moose. You're right, Rodney. The moose. More people die from moose than any other. How come, if the plural mouse is mice, how come the plural for moose is it meese? Wolves have killed more people in Alaska, but it's probably Jason, wolves in America don't have a history for killing people. Not really known for that. Now in Europe they did. Yeah, I wouldn't put it past them, especially in a pack. You wouldn't want to encounter a pack of moose. Now we know that coyotes have taken out children. I assume that wolves would too. I was studying with shelf 2 trees. He had me saying all kind of things, all kinds of stuff during the vision quest. Oh, new days. Chief. I think you meant to say chief, not shelf, right? Chief 2 trees. Well, yeah, you have to tell me more about that. They ticked off Mama Brown Bear. Well, you don't want to mess around with a brown bear, that's for sure, especially a mama one. Yeah, bear do get a lot of people in Alaska. Bear get a lot of people, but moose are deadlier. And about wolf attacks in North America, it's nasty. They say there's Mexican gray wolves, few out in my area in Arizona. There is mountain lions that go through our property out there. Yeah. We do have cougars, mountain lions, whatever you want to call them. We call them panthers here in the Southeast. Yep, New Days, the moose. You got moose. New Days has moose on our property. I've had a lot of vision quests when I was in high school. Hey, Tracy. Yeah, New Days was telling me about some disturbing visions. I talked with her. Anyway, guys, we got some testy times coming. Did you know that cows take out more people than the other animals in the world? We raised cattle when I was growing up. Cows are strong. That's because they're just so darn strong. They're massive. We had you put up a fence to keep them out of things. But if a cow really wants to get out, they'll get out of anything. We had a cow in a barn, and her calf was outside, and that calf bleeded. And that cow went through the side of the barn, busted the planks out, went through the side of the barn to get out. That blew my mind. I mean, planks, busted the planks and got out. Well, that calf was outside. She was determined to get her calf. How are you going to stay safe? I will stay aware. My eyes are going to be wide open. My head's going to be on swivel. Looking around. They don't like to attack something that's looking at them. A mountain lion keeps an eye for when you're not looking, but they're hard to see. Cats do ambush hunting. They've not been, they do attack people occasionally, but it's usually when somebody's jogging or riding a bicycle. I haven't heard of any of them actually attacking anybody there. Now I've got a wash on the corner of my property, a huge big wash. In that little valley area of the wash, elk migrate through there twice a year, and these cats tend to follow the elk. I don't mean they can't be there at other times, but that's when they're the highest population density in the area is during the elk migrations. Elk migrate through my property. And there are cattle there, free-range cattle. And the cows come on my property too. But I want to fence it off so it'll be my cows on the property, nobody else's. And I'm not into doing a free-range thing. But yeah, I do want a few head of cattle. If I can do it, if I can handle it. Cattle is a challenge to handle as you get older. But I owned cattle when I was a kid. And we used to have to put cows let it get out all the time. I'd round them up. Make sure you get some dogs when you settle in. Yeah, I will eventually, but puppies are expensive. I won't be able to afford any for a while. I mean, you can pay $300 for a good puppy. I need probably some dogs that are going to get fairly big and not Great Dane size. I don't need dogs that I can ride. Now, dogs that pull a cart might work. I'll probably get me something like a big lab or something like that. So that's a good. Yeah, I do plan to get some dogs. Just because they're so good at alerting you to things, especially if somebody's coming down the road from a half a mile away, they'll start barking. So that way I'll know anybody's coming. There's only one way in and out of my property. So anybody's coming, I'm going to know it ahead of time. Ain't nobody going to sneak around that property. Go to the pound. Well, that's an idea. I don't know where I have to find out where the pound is there. There might be one up in Sholo. So, because if they come out of the country, we all have pew-pews, dogs, pigs, coyotes, mountain lions, black bears. Yeah, there's all that. We don't have alligators in Arizona. We got most of that other stuff. There are a few black bear range through there. In fact, Connie, who we hadn't seen in here in a while, she came out there to help me a little bit on building the building, and she said she saw a mama black bear with her cubs not far from my place. My next door neighbor got some pictures of some antelope. I hadn't seen any antelope, but apparently they're in the area too. Now you go to northern Utah, you see big herds of antelope all over the place. I think you're going to the pond to lick toads. Well, I got plenty of frogs out here, but I haven't got any desire to be licking toads personally. It just doesn't appeal to me at the least. I don't like any kind of drug or anything like that. Anything that's going to be psychoactive scares me, to be honest. I can't even, if I have more than 2 beer, my heart will go to the racetrack the next day. I don't care anything about that. I used to buy a little bit for like Christmas. I didn't even buy any this Christmas. Last Christmas, I bought a 6-pack of beer and only drunk 2 of them. And the rest of them stayed in the refrigerator till I was opening and closing the door enough that eventually fell out of the door and ruptured. Not in it. Need some rat dogs. Now, that's true. That is true. There's tons of rats out there, and that's probably the most prominent thing. That's why you got so many coyotes, rats, and rabbits. So we got cottontail rabbits and jackrabbits. We got both. Lots of rabbits. Lots of lot of deer. A lot of mice. A lot of rabbits. Coyotes, ravens. Ravens are flying around. There's some other little birds that fly around, but ravens seem to be the dominant bird in the area. They'll fly over. Ah, ah. You know, crows, ah, ah, but ravens, ah, ah. The first time I saw ravens when I went up to Alaska on April Fool's Day in 1981, April 1st. I got out there. They put me up overnight the first night at Fort Wainwright in the billets there. And I got outside and I saw those ravens and I heard them go, ah, ah. I said, man, it's cold up here. Even the crows are hoarse. I was driving up. I took a bus to Fort Greeley from there, and they had any jackalope maybe. They had these the trees that grow on permafrost just don't get any height. They grow short, and they're kind of like bonsai because they're nutrient starved. I mean, you got in the Yukon Territory, there's giant forests for miles and miles. The trees maybe are only knee high. That forest might be hundreds of years old, but and they're trees, there's forests, but they're only like knee high. Well, I saw some of that on the way to Fort Greeley, a patch of trees like that. And I thought, wow, they even got summer cedars up here. And we got a weed up here that looks a lot like that. I said, wow, they even got summer cedars up here in Alaska. And it was trees. It's a little fir trees. So, yeah. I started to learn a lot fast. Alaska is like a different planet, totally different planet. Yeah, my place in Arizona is a little bit like a different planet, but not as much as Alaska. The skies look different because the sun's always at low angles usually. You get a lot of pink tones and different color tones up there in the sky. So at night you got the aurora borealis a lot. That's how I can see in the dark. What gets you able to see in the dark? Is I spent a month in the mountain with the Indian training me. Okay. Yeah, pretty good night vision. Actually, I've read recently that blue-eyed people have better night vision. I don't know. My night vision is far better than most. I think I'm even better than most blue-eyed people. I'll electrify the Rio Grande, but I don't think it's getting funded. Well, I got some razor wires putting up on it. Anyway, thank you, Jason, for calling for the thumbs up. So I'm going to hit the refresh button. So many people we got in the house. See if we've accumulated, or if it's going up or down. Same number. All right, we've been into this thing for 97 minutes. It is almost 4:30 in the morning here. I got to hit the hay. I didn't know if I was going to have enough gas to do a video tonight. Cedar ash and film case is amazing. Yeah, tell me about that, Granny. Nanny Anderson. How you doing, Nanny Anderson? How you doing? All right, everybody. Oh, we got 81 in the room now. Very good. Hey, Robert Hodges. Salute to you. Thank you. You and John Taylor. San Juan Islands. Out here, rabbits go with the natural selection, jump into the ocean to make room for the new. Oh, Lord. Have to jump in the ocean because they breed so fast, huh? To make room. Yeah, thank you, Robert. You and John Taylor both tonight. Amen. I suppose that's all this video is going to earn, because it's probably going to get demonetized. Talking about, they don't want you talking anything about an election. I haven't been talking about an election. I've been just talking about the speech, the rant. Anyway, guys, we'll just fly on. All right, folks, let's do this. Everybody tell us where you're from. We're about to call it a night. They must be married. Who? John Edwards? Who's married? All righty, folks. Let's tell us where you're from. We're gonna call it a night. It is late. Hot in here, actually. Warm in here. I was running the heater a little bit earlier. It's not going. Riddle and Joe. Hey, Larry, how you doing? Homegrown teas. Area 51. Nanny's in Louisiana. I drove through Louisiana a couple of days ago. Probably go back through a couple times soon. We didn't lick toads, planked them, collected the milky substance, milked it in the tea that he made. Okay. Morning glory seeds. I heard morning glory seeds. Yeah, thistle, seagrass, some root bark make you see all kind of spirits. You got caught on a hot mic a few times. Rabbits. Hey, John Taylor. Salute to you. What's my location? I'm at Tony, Alabama. Eager, Arizona. Hey, Raspberry. So they claim. Planet Earth. Hey, honey. Island Outfitters. Nolans. John Edwards. They're from or reside. Okay, Cro-Magnon. Nola. Playbees and Nola. How are the storms up in the Scottish Highlands? Caledonian Sun. All right. I think I got some ancestors from up in that area. Amen. Thank you, John Taylor. That's two tonight for John Taylor. Much obliged, much appreciated. I'm seeing the bubble now for John's. I thought I'm not seeing the one for Robert Hodges. That's odd. Robert Hodges, appreciate that. John Taylor, really appreciate you there. You know, we're missing Michelle tonight. I hope she's okay. She's usually in here. Heard about those morning glory seeds. Yeah, I've heard about those. Pembroke, Ontario, Canada. Life is getting so hard. Can't afford to live. Well, I'm sorry to hear it, Angela. Yeah. Well, also, you got that Commie Trudeau running your country. I'd say you need a new campaign slogan. Commie Trudeau, he's got to go. We be talking toads. Yeah, we be talking toads of all things. It does prove that the authorities are watching the power grid very closely. Yeah, too closely. I just posted a video on Green Greg's talking about, and I also made reference to an earlier video I did talking about how China's put devices and all these Internet of Things stuff that they've sold over here that they can monitor and shut things down like cars. But now there's a lot of concern that they've been monitoring our ports with modems and communications devices and the port cranes, which about 80% of the cranes that we got, the ports come from China, and how that's a threat from a defense standpoint because they can watch a lot of our mobilization stuff. And two, how their electric cars can really just map everything in this country real time. We don't need that. Think America's more prepared than let on? Well, Larry, I hope you're right. But we don't have drills that send everybody in our big cities down into bunkers like they do in Moscow. And I've been down in the subway stations in Moscow. They're 400 feet underground, and you go way down to get the subway system there. And they all have these big blast doors. Moscow is ready. Farmers in Quebec have started a protest. Well, good. That's good. I mean, they're telling us that gardens are bad for us. Now there's, and John Kerry said we got to do away with agriculture basically because agriculture is not green. Agriculture puts out CO2. So they're after more than just cows now. Cool channel name. Well, that's a cool channel name. Did Bill Cooper live in Arizona? I don't know. Maybe he's my neighbor. I got a Bill on the hill. What if he's Bill Cooper? His last name is supposedly something else, but who knows? Just left the gym pumping. Okay. What's his name? Travis Walton. I think I was going to call him Travis Taylor the other day. Travis Taylor's, out there in at Skinwalker Ranch now. He's no buddy of mine. I've been on a Nat Geo video with him because he was from Huntsville. Mr. Mojo Rising. There you go. That's a good song. When the music is over, turn out the lights. Okay. Bill Cooper, Travis Walton is in Snowflake. He's the guy that the movie The Fire in the Sky was made over. He don't want to talk to anybody about it. The whole experience traumatized him. It destroyed his life, basically. He don't want to talk about it. Motorhead had it correct. Eat the rich. Motorhead. Most people have no clue that zebra grass has more THC than marijuana. Oh my gosh, what is zebra grass? People are strange when you're a stranger. There you go. I wish I could play videos, music videos, and get away with it. Some people say Lee's trying to get monetized. If he does, he's going to have to quit doing that. He may even have to delete the videos that he's got like that. They may go back and get your older videos. I don't know. Clover flowers are packed with proteins. They're edible. Most clover is edible. You get protein from bean seeds, plants, and nuts. That's true. I eat a lot of nuts. And the reason I eat a lot of nuts are they're a good source of magnesium. Your modern, and I like mixing up peanuts or not. There's no peanuts in here. I love peanuts, but I eat tree nuts. Those are protein rich and are rich in magnesium and zinc and a lot of trace elements. The reason they're rich in it, if you go to the ordinary garden vegetables that you buy at the store, they are micronutrient deficient, almost no, very, very little to no micronutrients. Now, if you look up things like sunflower seeds, it tells you that it's rich in magnesium. Well, it would be if the soil were right. But when you look on, if you buy a pack of sunflower seeds, usually it will list magnesium as 0 if they put it on the list. I've actually bought a pack of sunflower seeds and I looked down the list and they had magnesium as 0. Why is that? It's because plants can only draw what's in the soil. Plants are not fusion reactors. They can't make elements. Elements are fundamental. And what happens is the soil gets depleted by continuous harvest where the plants draw this stuff out and they deplete the soil. Well, most farmers only fertilize NPK. Maybe they put lime down. If they put lime down, that helps some. But a good rock dust is really needed to properly fertilize the garden. Now, good organic farmers, not all of them, I say good organic farmers, will apply rock dust or they'll use a lot of wood chips. Wood does deplete your soil of nitrogen, though. A lot of people told me I should use back to Eden out here. Hey, I put wood chips in my garden out here, and it does not prevent weeds. The weeds here in Alabama, especially crabgrass and Johnson grass, they pay no attention to wood chips. You can have a layer of wood chips this thick, and then that's just going to shoot up through it and just take over the garden completely. Yeah, there's no back to Eden that works in this area. I think it might in Arizona, though. So I might be trying back to Eden in Arizona. It might make my garden go a lot easier. How far down in the bunker can an EMP reach? A long distance. Bunker is not going to protect you from EMP, only if it's a Faraday cage, because the E3 signal goes through the ground. Yes, it goes to the ground. There's a huge underground power cable in Kazakhstan. It got taken out by a Russian nuke test. Huge underground cable. So, and they've had other underground facilities and other underground cables in other areas of Russia that were taken out. The EMP does travel through the ground. So these people are selling you little devices telling us going to protect your home from 42 EMPs because we shut everything to the ground. They're missing something, my friends. You know what the protection is for the big transformers, how they want to protect them from EMP? By putting a bunch of surge blockers on the center tap, the ground of the transformer. Not on the lines, but on the ground. That's where it's going to come from, up through the ground. Epsom salt, lead, and magnesium. Yeah, that's true. That's true, the American one. Yeah, in fact, if pee in your compost, yeah, it gives you nitrogen. It gives you the nitrogen, but that's like part of your NPK. I eat almonds to control diabetes. Well, the reason I eat the nuts is to keep my heart from going to the racetrack. It helps because I've discovered, I was having worse problems at one time. I mean, really bad. And I discovered I had a magnesium. They did quite a bit of blood work on me, and I found I was magnesium deficient. And I've discovered if I eat tree nuts, it helps me out a lot. It's not the end all everything, but for me, it helps. A human can live off that too. Live off what? What did Jason say? What does a human can live off of? The last thing I see Jason saying is LOL. Yeah, it's people can live off of laughing. Can you feed cows on the alfalfa? Oh, yeah. They use alfalfa hay, a lot of it out in Arizona. Feed it to cows and horses. Rabbits love alfalfa. Rabbits absolutely love it. It's expensive hay, though. There was an NHL star that wasted away to 87 pounds and was on his deathbed before he discovered he was eating things that made of almond flour. He made a full recovery, went back to NHL. Huh. So you're saying the almond flour wasn't doing him any good. Oh, he was too dependent on just that. Peely nuts are good. Well, I got something else here I like to eat some too, another form. I like pine nuts. I think I got some here. Organic pine nuts. Those help you with your manliness too. Wondering Jew plants help blood pressure. That's good to know. Alfalfa. I remember alfalfa from the, what was that little kid show on from the way back 30s, 20s maybe? Our Gang. Philly nuts are the most shelf stable. What is Philly? I don't know what that is. What is Philly? This tells you, here's what's funny. Italian pine nuts. Raw. Italian. And it shows you the Italy boot. But I believe these Italian pine nuts come from California, to be honest. Let's see what it says on there. Mr. Shanaway is from Arkansas. Did you comment on red heifers in Israel? We talked about that a little bit in the previous video, but yeah, we'll mention that in a second. Phosphorus is 140 milligrams of phosphorus. Potassium, 177. Don't say anything about magnesium here. Carbohydrates, 4. Let's see. This company is Good Sense Foods from New Hope, Minnesota. Italian pine nuts from a company in Minnesota. But let's see, what's it say? Product of Italy, packaged in the USA. What? Processing, and a facility that handles peanuts, tree nut, milk, wheat, sesame, soy, egg ingredients. In case somebody has an allergy, this kind of facility does all that other stuff too. I don't know how it doesn't say that the pine nuts will actually come from Italy. I don't know how they get there. The company is based out of Minnesota. Minnesota. You say that. But it also says product of Italy, packaged in the U.S. Is it really from Italy? Or these pine nuts from Italy? I don't know. You got to wonder. I don't know. What do y'all think? Michelle Young in? There she is. Oh, you just woke up. Hi, Michelle. So we said we were missing you earlier. Good to see you in the house. We used to have chickens and we had more eggs than we could eat. That's a good thing. Sell them. Go to farmer's market. Get a little money from cricket dust. Oh, no. Yeah, did y'all see where Tyson Foods is getting in bed with some big bug company? Oh, yeah. And what was it somebody wanted me to talk about? Stinging nettles is nature's natural Viagra. Really? Stinging nettle don't grow around here, but I'll tell you something else about stinging nettle. From a prepper and a bushcraft standpoint, for the survivalist, for the bushcrafter, stinging nettle makes great tinder. Now, a lot of tinder, especially a lot of people are using flint and steel, use char cloth. Problem with char cloth is you have to have a fire to make fire when you're using char cloth. And a lot of people make char cloth. I'm trying to look for a thought. I guess I don't have any down here right now. A lot of people will take cloth and put it in a Altoids box, poke some holes in it, throw it in a fire, and let it cook in there. And it will be oxygen depleted with the box closed. And they'll cook it out and be just a carbon in there, almost like carbon black. And they will make their sparks on that and blow on that and use that to light, regular rougher tinder and kindling. But stinging nettle will do the same thing. And it's better if you dry it, but even green stinging nettle actually can work. I have to work at it more. Stinging nettle is the one plant that makes the best tinder. It's one thing that's natural. You don't have to have fire to make it. If you got stinging nettle is said to be the most nutritious plant that there is. It's got those little stingers on it, right? So you got to watch that. Little stingers. Now, I do have a flint and steel kit here. I'm going to have to do some fire making with it one day. Maybe do a video. There's a little steel piece. I actually got this. I ordered this from Canadian Prepper. I got a lot of this flint on my property in Arizona now, fortunately. In fact, I got a flint chip that looks almost like these that I picked up off my property in Arizona. See? That's just like those chips. And I got a blacksmith's forge, so I should be able to make these. Who knows? I might make and sell fire starter kits myself. Basically, you strike the flint on the steel. That's the way I'd prefer to do it. Some people try to do it the other way. I think that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to scrape it and make sparks, just like on flintlock. The flint comes down and scrapes the steel, makes a shower of sparks into a very fine, like 4FG black powder. You want very fine black powder for that. I didn't. All right. Somebody asked a question here. Did I cover something? Rosemary tea. What was it? Let me go back up. So I said, big stuffed chicken breast. I prefer the thighs myself. My favorite chicken part's a thigh. You got a lot of flavor, and they got a little organ meat in it. You need organ meat especially if you're on a low carb diet. I tend to follow a low carb diet, but I can't afford my favorite meat, which is beef. I can't afford it. Unfortunately, beef is just going sky high. I mean, beef used to be reasonable. That's why I made my own cows one day. I love beef. We had cattle on us growing up, ate a lot of beef, but we just too high for me. Tyson Food and Zabug, look into it. Yeah, guys, they're going to be putting cricket powder in your food before you know it. It'll be added to all that processed food you buy. Chicken nuggets will be cricket nuggets before you know it. All right, somebody asked me to cover something. What was it? Great for your manliness is a proven fact. There you go. Fasting. Oh, fasting. Well, I fasted yesterday. La, la, la. Let's see, what was I missing? Somebody wanted me to bring something up, and yeah, something I want to talk about. So, Little Rascals, that's it. Little Rascals. Thank you, Jason, for correcting me. Little Rascals. Alfalfa. I think somebody took him out with a nug. He lived a pretty rough life later when he grew up. I brought a freeze dryer before chickens started laying eggs. Okay, Larry. Killer Smurf, how you doing, Killer Smurf? I learned that adding salt and pepper before freeze drying the eggs will add more years to the egg storage. 30 years. Wow. Best way to keep whole eggs is just don't wash them. They'll last a long time. Don't even need refrigeration. Some people would soak them in water with lime in it to preserve them longer without washing them, of course. Whoops. Oh, red heifer. That's it. Red heifer. That's what I was asked to talk about, Tracy. Thanks for reminding me here. All right, so one of the keys for rebuilding the temple was they wanted to be able to sacrifice the red heifer at the temple. And now the Jews have developed a red heifer that fits within all the criteria for the sacrifice that they would do. See, the Jewish people haven't done a sacrifice in a long time because they've not had a proper kettle, proper altar, the temple. But, before they had the regular temple, they did, when they were going through the desert, they set up tents that were laid out in a prescribed manner and altars, and they did sacrifices. And so now that I guess the red heifer has to be under a certain age to be qualified to be kosher. Kosher means proper in Hebrew. To be kosher for sacrifice, it's got to be under a certain age. Well, the red heifer that they got is reaching that point. And apparently they built an altar to sacrifice this. And some people see that as an end time sign. That may be a sign of the end times, guys. And we may see a temple built. Yeah. Hey, Scooby Snacks, how you doing? Let's see in here. How much is beef liver? I don't know. I do like chicken liver. Beef liver, I'm not so fond of. I guess you can do it with onions. It's okay. Liver is actually very good for you. I used to hear that if you ate an entire bear liver, it has so much vitamins and nutrients that it would take you out. I mean, like plant you 6 foot under. I don't know. They claim if you eat bear liver, eat just small pieces. Liver's best for you. A new study had people eating liver 4 times a week and other diet food after 8 weeks, and internal biome decreased. 2 years of life decreased it. It said take life off. I don't know. Aztec. So, Tim Casper, how you doing? We got people joining. We got 101 in the room now. Chicken thighs make excellent General Tso's. Hey, yeah, that's good. I love General Tso's chicken. A little spicy. And chicken liver, I don't know. The thighs to me just have more flavor. They're juicier, got more flavor. Breast is so dry. To me, it's like eating cardboard comparatively. So I always favor the thigh. It's got a lot of flavor. It's got a little organ meat. But now I actually like my favorite chicken livers are barbecued. Hey, how do you grill chicken liver? Chicken livers will fall apart. I'll get those plates you put on the grill that got little holes in them, just little holes, and I put the chicken liver on it, put barbecue sauce on it. It takes a wholly different flavor. You wouldn't believe how good that is. It is just amazing. Oh, Aztecs ate human liver. Yeah, there were some tribes that believed if you ate a liver, that you were taking the soul of the person you ate. Jeremiah Johnson, you ever see the movie Jeremiah Johnson? What the movie didn't tell you was the real Jeremiah Johnson was also known as liver eater. Because when he killed an Indian, and that part of the movie was pretty close, he took out a lot of Indians. A lot of them, just like the movie showed. But he would always eat a piece of their liver. It freaked the Indians out. It really literally freaked them out. They thought he was taking their souls into him. That's probably why he did it, just to freak out the Indians. Or maybe it's because he was out in the wilderness where you couldn't get the vitamins and nutrients. And that's that livers have. I mean, when you're only eating meat, you need to pretty much eat an animal from nose from snout to tail to snout. That's what animals do to get full range of nutrients. So if you're only eating muscle meat, you're missing a lot of stuff. Killer whales suck livers out of great white sharks. Wow. A liver is very nutrient dense. Cow tongue is yummy. I've had cow tongue. In fact, the only time I ever ate cow tongue, I've got a Puerto Rican friend who made it. She's a great cook too. So, yep, cow tongue. Believe it or not, I have had cow tongue one time, and it was good. It really was. There are some animals you just don't eat. Do not try to eat a raw slug. There's so much bacteria there. There's a story about this young guy who was an athlete in high school, and somebody dared him to eat one. He did. And he didn't exist for long. The bacteria got in his brain, and he ceased to exist. Chicken liver makes yummy pate. I tell you what, I've had duck pate at a French restaurant, and I thought it was terrible. But I went when I used to go to Washington D.C. I'd go check out all various international restaurants, and I was never impressed with the French restaurants. I'll be honest. French, brag about how good they are at cooking. I don't know. None of them impressed me. So, yeah, I like the Hungarian goulash. That was interesting. I'd try out different international dishes, but French restaurants, I felt like they were overhyped. Shill Maiden, how you doing? Hi, Greg. Just turning in. How serious are you taking the imminent threat against Moscow by extremists in the next 24 hours? Well, I think the biggest threat is how NATO is moving in on them, how French President Macron's been threatening to put troops into Ukraine. And he keeps saying, I don't like eating organs. Well, they're real healthy. I'm not eating anything's tongue or I don't go that ladder. No, not doing that. Nope, not going there. Or intestines. My ex-wife tried to trick me into eating chitlins. She said, here, try this. And I said, what is it? So I just try it. And I said, no. She would tell me it was. She had a funny grin on her face. She liked them, but I wasn't going there. The French eat raw horse meat. Man, poor horses. One more time when you are coming back. One more time. When are you coming back to Arizona? John, I got to get some stuff packed up here and get this place up for sale and sell it. I got a lot of work to go through here, but hopefully within a month. Because I do need to get out there and start. I got to start moving stuff there. So hopefully I can do it within a month. I got a lot of work to do here, though. I was praying with my son. I crave liver and onions and raw oysters. I like raw. It's just about the only raw thing I'll eat. He used to surprise people when he had to order it in the restaurants at 4 years old. All right. That's interesting. So, there was an acquired taste. I've always kind of liked it. So beef liver has not been high on my priority list. I did talk about the red heifer a little bit. So, yeah, they believe that they're about to have a red heifer sacrifice. It'll be the first sacrifice probably since Diaspora, since the Jews got dispersed from what was Judea, not Israel. It was Judea back then. The original Israel broke into two kingdoms. Israel was to the north, and the Assyrians conquered Israel and dispersed 10 of the original Hebrew tribes. And we don't know what became of them. There's all kind of rumors about that. Bronzewagon. What's Bronzewager? They didn't know how to make pate. I was taught by my friends. Okay. All right. Rooster testicle stew. Oh my God. I'd have a lot of them to make a stew, I would think, from a rooster. Jeez. Nah, I don't need none of that. It's one organ I'll skip. Although when I was a kid, if you get around somebody that was castrating pigs, you better be running because they're probably throwing them at you. I got hit up beside the head one time with one right in the temple. Yeah. Call them mountain oysters. Don't get no mountain oysters. Got sick on raw oysters. Oh, I never got sick on oysters. But they need to be harvested at certain months. They say a month with an R in it is the only month to eat raw oysters. They're harvested in months with R, which means not in the warm months. Yeah, I don't eat raw beef. I had a girlfriend who was Lebanese who used to eat it. They called it kibbeh. They dated a Lebanese girl one time. and they ate raw beef. Now, she's the one that introduced me to lamb. I like lamb. Lamb's good. Acme Oyster Bar. Yeah, let's go to a gas station and get sushi and raw oysters, right? Nah. By the way, sushi does, according to a buddy of mine who was half Japanese, sushi does not mean raw fish. Does anybody know what sushi means in Japanese? Mountain oysters are great. Okay, John, I'll take your word for it. They may be, but I have a hard time being encouraged to want to go there. Hard-boiled eggs, I got that. All right. Sushi bones on a hook. Well, according to my ex-coworker, he was half Japanese. I won't say friend. He was a bit of a mass hole himself. Not because he was Japanese, just because that's the way he was. I think he was a psychopath. This guy was a nut job. His mama was Japanese. He told me that sushi meant rice roll. And usually when you get sushi, it comes in a roll of rice. He said sushi means rice roll. He said, at least that's what his mom told him. Hey, what I know. He was an engineer. He was an electrical engineer. But he was quite the prima donna. Ooh, on steroids. And at one time, I worked with him in another company, and I used to see the people working under him. I said, boy, I'd hate to work for this guy. This guy was like a tyrant to people that was under him. I said, oh, I'd hate to work for him. Then I took his job, a couple of jobs later. The place was really rough. I was working 80-hour days, just weeks. 80-hour weeks, just on and on and on. It was grinding me. And I was about to quit. I was on the verge of quitting. This guy calls me up on the phone. He says, Greg, that's the way he talked. Greg, you on a job? I got a job for you. His name was Paul. I said I'd never work for him until that day. That day he called me and says, I got a job for you. And I said, well, okay, Paul. I went over and went to work for him. Whew. Anyway, he wouldn't drive anything but a BMW. He wouldn't. His motorcycle was a Gull Wings. I think that was a Honda brand. But he had to have the best of the best, and it had to be this, it had to be that. And he just wouldn't drive anything but a BMW. And the whole time I worked for him, he had you under the threat of being fired in an instant. So you had like walking on thin ice the whole time. So when I left there, and this group would have dinner sometimes, or lunches, big lunches, and some of the guys invited me to lunch. And he sat at the end of the table, and I sat down, and I said, hey, Paul, what's the difference between a BMW and a cactus? Hey, I don't know. Why? That's the way he talked. I said, on a cactus, the pricks are on the outside. Oh, man, everyone at the table looked at me. They were spitting their food out and just dying laughing. If they had food in their mouth, they would spit it. They all died laughing because he couldn't fire me. He just sat there and looked at me with a eating grin. And that's all they could do. He knew I had him, and he couldn't do anything about it. So I got him. Listening from Bama. Hey there, neighbor. And hey, Chuck, what part of Bama are you in? I'm in northern Alabama, 8 miles south of the Tennessee border. My ex-grandpa was sheep bearded. Their Indian neighbor ate dogs and stew. Oh, Lord. A lot of people over in the Orient do. I saw a guy who out in where's he at? That Kristen channel covered him. He's covered on another channel too. This guy had a cart that he lived in. It was pulled by goats, kind of like the Goat Man I used to watch when I was a kid. No, sheep. He used sheep, not goats. Mostly sheep. And in his cart, he would go around the community and live out of this cart that the sheep pulled. And he actually admitted eating coyote. Said he ate coyote. Oh, wow, I got a lot of coyote out of my place. If I'm starving to death, I might try it. Just a pot with peanuts and hot water. Boiled peanuts are real popular around here. I prefer them dry roasted, but boiled peanuts are good. Herder. Oh, not bearded. Okay. It's a sheep herder. Okay. Weird theory of mine about governments collaborating to create the events in the Book of Revelations. I've often wondered, listen, Putin, Trudeau, and Macaroni were all students, proteges of Klaus Schwab of the House of Klaus. You got to wonder, even though they're looking like they're going, is this all being collaborated underneath? I don't know. You got to wonder. I got a lot of people saying how Putin was going to go take out the House of Klaus. Well, just a few months before he went into Ukraine, he had a big video conference, and you think, he was kissing up to him. I don't know about that. They were buddy for a long time. So I don't know, guys. The most famous Japanese restaurant for its meat soup was discovered to be human. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's sickening. Top Hollywood star. Well, they probably knew what it was. It was Hollywood characters. They're weird. Never heard of boiling peanuts? Oh my gosh, Cro-Magnon. Boiled peanuts are big down here. They're big. I remember there used to be a guy in Huntsville who had a big pot. He boiled them outside on the street and would sell them. You can get them in some stores, shops. Of course, peanuts are real big down in South Alabama and South Georgia. They grow in fields of peanuts. And my dad used to grow peanuts. Fresh peanuts are a lot better. They busted Longport restaurant in Hollywood. Oh, there's some sick people. There's some sick people. Guys, we've been going for a long time. It is 5 a.m. Yeah, we've been 2 hours into this. Yeah, Longport. Yeah, Longport walks on 2 legs. So if you ever hear me saying, don't be the long pork, that's what I'm talking about. I'm afraid when it hits the fan, a lot of the food's going to be gone through fast, and these marauders are not going to be looking for anything else but long pork. So watch out. Don't be the long pork. That's a good reason to get your tribe going. Go to survivaltribenetwork.com. Wise paid for setting that website at survivaltribenetwork.com. And to make sure you got some regular food that'll last a long time, go to prepwithgreg.com, guys. Prepwithgreg.com. Yeah, we got a special there right now running on, that's the freeze-dried stuff, a special running on a 4-week supply. Check it out. I think it's like $60 off. But yeah, we're about to go. I meant to go after we asked everybody where they were from. That was like an hour ago. It happened in Europe around the plague. I imagine so, Jason. A lot of that. There's all the stories about Donner's Pass, too, here in the United States, where they were trapped up there and freezing. And that story of the airplane that crashed in the Andes. Oh my God, Tracy. Ghost pepper almonds are my favorite. Ghost pepper almonds. What do you think? Almonds mixed with ghost. Yeah, cannibalism is not a prepper strategy. You're right. It's not. That's horrible. And you open yourself up to all kinds of diseases. I mean, like somebody's got that Jacob Creutzfeldt's or whatever you call it. The Lou Gehrig's disease, which is basically mad cow in humans, or like the mad deer disease. You get that definitely. Thank you for posting that, New Days. Holodomor. Yeah, that was where the Ukrainians were getting starved by the Russians. It's kind of like a way back when. There's been a lot of, even though the Russians, Ukrainians ethnically are the same people, but they've got a lot of bad blood between each other. Mad cow disease, yes. Prion diseases. A prion is not even alive. Some idiots were talking about burning the nerve tissue, the spinal cord, in diesel fuel. And is to get rid of. That's a bad idea because diesel fuel don't burn at 4,000 degrees. You have to have something at 4,000 degrees to destroy the prion. So what are they just spraying this in the atmosphere? We don't need to be breathing that stuff. Thank you, New Days, for sharing that with my Patriot Supply. Guys, I got to go. It's late. I won't be getting in bed till after sun up. Sun's going to rise before I get in bed. I get a short sleep. I got stuff to do. Everything closes early on a Saturday. And it's Saturday. So we'll probably be back live on Sunday night or Monday morning, whichever it is, depending on where you're at. Can't kill them. Yeah, can't kill them because they're not alive. It's a misfolded protein, and they're very tough. They're very rugged. They last a long time. So the fact that it's getting in the deer population is sad. It means that stuff's getting in the soil everywhere. I wonder if it originated from the sheep that they herded out west. The sheep had scrappy. So I wonder if the sheep was the origin of the mad deer. Yeah, it's hard to get 4K degrees, Jason. That's a problem. Sun's been up 2 hours in your neighborhood. Hey, yeah, it's called Lou Gehrig's disease. I can pronounce that. How do you pronounce that? Creutzfeldt Jacob disease? I don't know. Jacob. I don't even know how to say it, Chris. I take a shot of olive oil with chia seeds. Oh, that sounds good. Garlic oil with cayenne pepper. That's all good for you. Cayenne pepper is a superfood. You gotta watch the nightshade family, plant family, though. It's got certain compounds in it that aren't good for you. But cooked tomato, it's got to be cooked. They claim when tomato is cooked, it forms an enzyme that inhibits the formation of blood vessels that supply tumors. And something else is said to be good for fighting cancer, according to some people. I'm not a medical doctor, so this is not medical advice. Disclaimer here, go see a medical doctor for proper treatment. But there are people that claim that graviola, which is also known as soursop, will fight that stuff. Monk sugar? What is monk sugar? I heard it came from the tribes in the Amazon. Maybe. Yeah. Well, the cannibals had a lot more prion diseases. That should be no surprise. Why do they hold messages for? I don't know, Jason. I don't know. Well, that's not one of the. I gave some words on here from the whole like cuss words, but that's not on the list. I haven't even thought about that one. But YouTube probably has their own list of what they hold. The Hampstead girl. I don't know about that. Crazy story. Who's interviewing this Hampstead girl? All right, guys, we're going way too late. Hey, there's nothing better than stuffed tomatoes baked in the oven with meat or seafood dressing. Better than stuffed peppers. Excuse me. Well, that's interesting. I've had fried green tomatoes. I fried a few myself in olive oil. That makes them even better. What do you mean hold? Probably they were withholding comments. Klaus can eat Z-bugs himself. No, he's going to eat steak and caviar. He wants you to eat Z-bugs. Just like he wants you to live in a 15-minute city while he flies around in a private jet. Yuck, New Days. I don't doubt that. Monk fruit. I don't know monk fruit. I've heard of it, but I don't know it, Larry. Not worth looking up. Anti-inflammatory, that would be good. I don't have a diabetes problem. But yeah, Greg, shut up and go to bed. You're right, John. That's what I need to. As far as big poultry companies, Springer Mountain Farms, eat more chicken. Best chicken is some that's raised in a yard by local homesteaders. Small green melon, native southern China, named after the monks. Okay. End up somebody's preps. Rice, red beans and rice. Okay. And a new, I can't pronounce that, Clay. Yeah, red beans and rice. That's a pretty good staple. A lot of people go to. Alrighty, folks. We've gone long here tonight. So thank you, super chatters. And thank you, mods. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and one and all. Good night, good morning, depending on wherever you're at. I hope you all have a good day, Saturday, a great weekend. And I'll probably catch you back here in a couple of nights, maybe Sunday night, Monday morning time frame. And I got some videos I want to post. I've already recorded on Green Greg's, I mentioned. So keep out Green Greg's. That last video I did have a few people watch, so check my Green Greg's video if you hadn't seen it. I also posted on the what do you call it? What's our other website we're using? Discord, yeah. Alrighty, folks. Yes, one all again.